Aloha and welcome to Connection to the Cosmos with your host, me, Dr. Lisa Thompson, where I have out-of-this-world conversations with extraordinary people. And today I am really excited to have on Pamela Downes. We're going to bring her on in just a moment, but first, just a few announcements. If you have not had the opportunity yet to grab my free 20-minute meditative journey to meet your galactic guides and family, make sure you do so at mysticmanta.com or drlisajthompson.com. Also, I am, for any of you that are in the healing field and want to add on to your services or enhance what you do, I am leading my Galactic Ascension Channel Certification Program online, February 22nd and 23rd of 2025. Also, I'm hosting my very deep dive galactic retreat here on the Big Island of Hawaii, April 30th to May 4th. So if you want to really connect with your galactic family and really enhance that connection, that retreat is for you. And all that information is on my website, drlisajthompson.com or mysticmanta.com. And then for those of you coming to Hawaii, specifically to the Big Island, Kona side, then come on one of my Big Island UFO tours where you will see the night sky in a whole new way using the Advanced Generation 3 military night vision goggles. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to bring on Pamela. Hello.
Hello. I want night goggles. All of that sounds amazing. Can I come?
Please. Well, I'm so excited to have the conversation with you. So let me share your bio and then my audience can understand. So Pamela Downes is the visionary founder of Spirit Calling, an online sanctuary for spiritual awakening. Her journey into energy healing and plant medicine, sparked by her father's passing, opened her psychic abilities. Understanding the importance of support in the awakening process, Pamela received a divine calling to create Spirit Calling, a safe haven for seekers of all beliefs. Since its inception, Spirit Calling has flourished, offering classes and tools for members to heal and reconnect with their true selves. As a seasoned creative intuitive and trance channeler, Pamela channels the wisdom of the Great Council of Light, providing guidance and answers to support individuals on their journey.
Yay.
Well, yay. And we will get to hear some of that wisdom in a little bit. But first, before we get into, that, I would love for you to share with me and the audience your background, like spiritual, religious, something else. How did you grow up so that we understand the journey you got here?
I grew up in an mostly Italian Catholic background. And that was a large part of my life. And I loved it as a kid. I really did. I was in a private Catholic school, small school. I was very involved with, the church, and my grandparents were very involved with the church. That was my upbringing. And until my father got sober. My father was an alcoholic and very, very abusive, physically, mentally, verbally. But when he got sober, when I was in 4th grade, my mom found a charismatic, full gospel church. So we were taken out of the Catholic Church and we were put into another kind of church where they were like, praying, laying on hands and speaking in tongues and like all this stuff. And I actually like really resonated with those people. I didn't understand why until later, because I was an artist and a musician, and I always kind of felt like I was weird and I never really fit in with everyone, and these people were kind of weird. And I used to play my piano in church, and I would play during our sessions and for like special events and stuff. So it was sort of like a home. Then I just kind of went away from religious beliefs for a while. It didn't resonate with me. And I had my children. And then I started like, what do I do? I don't know what I believe. And then that background came in because my mom was like, you have to baptize your children and they're going to go to hell if you don't. And, it was also like traditions that were carried out in our family, and the parties and wear the gown that the great grandmother wore and like all the things. And I did all of that because it felt comfortable. It felt familiar. It felt like I was doing the right thing. But then I started questioning religion. I started questioning God. I started questioning love and God and the rules that were bound in the religion that I believed in. And so I don't know how deep you want me to go down into this rabbit hole, but that's that's basically a long answer to a short question.
Well, so I guess at what point in your life were you at when you were starting to question that again? And then how did you get on the track of, you know,
where I
like
am today?
that's right, and all the channeling, like all the stuff that you do.
Yeah, all the things that happened after that. My dad died like the bio said, and I was I had one child who I had done the christening with and all the things, and I was at that time in 2012, I think that's when like the church was going crazy and they were shifting priests from one parish to another, and there were all these allegations happening, and that didn't resonate, and I didn't understand that. And I remember memories of things, you know, of us being able to play in the back of the church, and like people that were maybe hanging around too much. And like I started thinking about that basically. And then I thought, okay, my dad died. And I remember my mom, my brother, and I were a very small little family. Even though they were divorced, my mom was there by his bedside when he died. But I remember watching my father cross over. And I wasn't really spiritual. I was just starting to think about larger concepts. I was just, you know, it was in another decade of my life. I was in my 30s. And you know, these things happen when you move into new decades. You start having more life experience behind you. You start looking at other life experiences ahead of you, and you have things like children come into play. And I remember my dad leaving. The energy of his body left when he died. And I remember when he took his final breath, and I remember thinking, where did my father go? Where did my father go? Like, you know, here's this man who was a bully and who was, you know, larger than life, didn't care about anybody else's feelings, his words, his actions. And he was consumed by alcoholism that riddled his body and left him sick and dead. And the essence of that man was gone. It was just completely gone. I was like, where did he go? Where did he go? And by no means that of me contriving or anything happening, this opportunity to go into this spiritual mediumship gallery was put in front of me, and all the stars aligned, and I was able to go, and someone watched the kids, and the ticket was free. Like all the things happened. And I went, and I walked right up in front. It was a small little gallery of maybe like 15, 20 people. And I walked up and I sat front and center. And the man said, we're going to get started now. Everyone uncross your arms, your legs, close your eyes. We're going to take some deep breaths. We're just going to relax. And he said, and then your loved ones are going to come in. And he goes, for instance, your father's here. He walked right up to me. And I was like, huh? You know, I had never done that before. And he said, well, your father, he died of his liver, something. He was bleeding his liver. And I said, yeah, he bled out. He was an alcoholic, liver failure. And he said, well, your father's here, and your father wants you to know that he loves you, and he never told you that he loves you, and he's sorry for how he was. He was terrible. And as I said before, I was a musician, I was an artist, I was a full circle creative.
Yeah.
And this man, this medium, this psychic medium, he didn't know me. He didn't know my story. He didn't know anything of me. And he said, your father wants you to know how talented you are. He never told you. He never appreciated your talent. I mean, those words, at least like, they just go right to you, like, whew, whew. And I was like, oh my God, this is my father.
Yeah.
He lives. He's on the other side. His energy, the essence of who he is alive in a non-physical form. That was it. That started my spiritual awakening journey. Now I look back at my experience as a child. I heard someone on a podcast recently that I was listening to talk about, you know, the hard, difficult times in our lives when we're young or whenever they are. Will we trade them for anything? And I have to say no, because my father came here on a soul contract to create that contrast, to show me and spark my spiritual awakening journey. And that's what happened. And I was in the metaphysical section of the library, consuming books, trying to understand all the things, reading Dr. Weiss's Many Lives, Many Masters, and, you know, starting to understand past lives and Talking to Heaven, James Van Prague, and like just consuming every single thing. And that was really the very, very beginning. Shortly after that, the law of attraction started. I had what I called my knockdown when I lost everything. My husband lost his job. I had my own business. Marketing got cut. My clients, cut their budgets, and suddenly our worlds turned upside down in 2008 and 2012, and the recession hit us. And we had, some major like growing up to do and some major things to live through. And we lost our house, we lost our retirement, we lost our friends. Ultimately, I lost my marriage. But in that time of what I call my knockdown, I started listening to Abraham, to Esther Hicks, channel Abraham.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I understood or saw channeling. I didn't really know what I was seeing at first when she would talk, because she was animated on stage with her eyes open, speaking as if she was just herself. And she started talking about how your words are power, and you're a creator being, and you create your reality, and you're serving your existence and your future up on a plate. And I started understanding, oh, I'm speaking my reality. I'm beating that drum of life is hard. It was a recession, and he lost his job, and my marketing got cut, and we lost our house. And I started understanding that I got to flip that upside down. And I started talking about the opportunities and the amazing things. Like, I kept my business during a recession, and we were able to carry our house and move to a little house. And oh my God, we found a renter, and hopefully we'll keep our house until the recession's over. Like, we have this little house, and I get to walk my kids to school. And like, I started shifting, and I started seeing my life shift, and I started seeing opportunities come before me, and I started seeing things change. And it was really amazing, because I remember when I first started playing with it, like when I first heard it, I heard someone say, just play. I guess it was Abraham. Just play. Do something like you really don't care about. And I said, okay, I want to see a red ball. Show me a red ball. And, you forget, because there's no attachments. There's no strings on it. You're throwing it out there, and you're not expecting anything. And you're sitting in a space of zero attachments. And later on that day, I was looking at Facebook or something, in the early days of Facebook, and I was scrolling. Yeah. And someone that I worked out with was sitting with their kid, and they threw a red ball at the screen. And I was like, okay, this is cool. I see how this works. Like, it was neat. Yeah. And I was, growing my spirits. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just doing what felt right. And I was doing what seemed right. And I was honoring that wisdom that was coming in. And I was making convictions and actions towards it that were bettering my life. Ultimately, I started having knowings, and I started understanding that my contract was over. And it was time to move on to the next thing. And it was excruciating. It was really hard for me to do that. It took me like 3 years to really move through that and work on it and all the things. Because, you're working in still this place of not really understanding. Like right now, I live everything through my spirit. Like, I live with my spirit first constantly. And I work this way too. But I was just listening then. I was listening. I was honoring and listening. And that one change, I tell everyone, that one change changed the trajectory of my life. Everything changed because I moved through fear. Yeah. And I exerted courage and opportunity for myself and my future. And I went through love. I left fear, and I went through love. 2 choices: fear or love, fear or love. And my marriage ended, and then it started me on this pathway of experiential learning and alignments that I would pay attention to. So in the universe, you ask for change, you ask for things. When they come to you, you have to witness that you asked for it. You have to understand, oh, maybe I didn't ask for it the right way. I got to fine tune that. And when certain things come to you, they're always going to trigger you. You have to say yes. You have to say yes. So I started asking for things, and the first thing that happened was I went to a Reiki share. My friend said, let's go to this Reiki share. I didn't even know what that was. I didn't really even know all the modalities. And she was like, it's like $15 or $30 or something. And there's like 10 people, and you get 30 minutes each. they'll work on you, like 5 or 6 practitioners. And I was like, okay, sounds fun. Well, I would never advise anybody to do that. It's because it was like, I was the last one. They put me up on the table. Thank God I was the last one, because I would have scared the heck out of everybody. And all of these women started working on me all over my body. And suddenly this swelling started happening in my chest, and everything started building and building and building and building. And whoa, it opened up, and I started howling and crying, and I released all this trauma in my heart chakra. And that's how it started. That was incredible. And it was like undeniable that something that I had no idea existed was there in my body. And I was just learning. I didn't really even know about the chakras. I was just learning about all those things. And then I met this woman who, by way of somebody else, I was going to yoga, and I met these people, and I was doing yoga, and I was doing yoga nidra and starting to do meditation. And like, you know, the universe gives you exactly what you need when you need it. So when you're ready for it, it dishes you something else up. And here's a little bit more, and here's a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I wound up working with this woman who was leaving her corporate job in New York City. She was Forbes 30 under 30, sustainability expert. She was a brilliant young woman. She felt a call to be a Reiki practitioner. She wanted to work in the spiritual world, and she left it. And she came down, and we worked on her brand. I have a branding and marketing firm. We worked on her business. And she said to me, I'm going to do a retreat down in Costa Rica. I want to train people in Reiki. And I did trade with her, and I went down to Reiki to do Reiki on this quartz crystal mountain. I didn't really want to be a Reiki practitioner, but I kept feeling pulled. I kept getting knowings, kept feeling pulled. And I went, and another chakra opened up. My throat chakra opened up, and I had this past life experience. I was foaming at the mouth. I was actually like being hung, and it was excruciatingly challenging. But it was another like opening this up and allowing me to tap into the wisdom that was there and healing it and working on it. And like, I'm still working on it now. But that's how it all started. And I knew that ayahuasca was my next experience. I had such a strong knowing about it. While I was on my rabbit hole of where did Jesus go and what are the chakras, I came across this video of this man, Gerald Powell, who was a hotelier in California. And he was addicted to drugs and sex and alcohol and like pornography, like everything. And he went on an ayahuasca journey in the jungle, and he cured himself of all of his addictions. And he started creating these healing centers so that other people could do that. The moment I saw it, I knew I was going there. I didn't know how or when, how I'd pay for it. None of it. But I knew I was going there. And I wound up working with this person who was doing a symposium as part of the work that we were doing. They invited us to go down to attend this symposium. And I was like, yeah, that sounds amazing. And I'll get to meet the owner of the company. And I had never met him. And I walked in the door, and I said, where is Steve? And they said, he's over there. And I went over and I said, hi, I'm Pamela. I've been doing work for your company. It's so nice to meet you. Well, this light, like this energy came through both of our forehead, like our heads, out our heart chakras, and that happened. And it was the universe saying, these two people need to meet. We're making an experience that's so impactful that you cannot walk away from it. And that's what happened. He messaged me or called me, and he said, Pamela, I just want to tell you, I want to know what that experience was and just discover what it was. And I said, I do too. And he said, I don't tell everyone this normally with work related stuff, but I feel like I can tell you this. He said, I'm actually in, I think he was in Peru or something, doing ayahuasca. And I said, oh, I'm going to be doing ayahuasca too. I'm going to be going to a place called Rhythmia Life Advancement Center. And he goes, Pamela, I'm going to Rhythmia in November. And like, these are not conversations that you have like every day with just anybody. And I wound up becoming very good friends with him. I wound up getting invited to this very small group of thought spiritual leaders who, one of them was part owner in this place I wanted to go to. They closed it down to the general public. They opened it up for this small group of people. I was one of 30 that went into this ayahuasca ceremony, this beautiful sacred ceremony. And in that 4-day experience, at the end of it, we did a breathwork class, and this light shot through my third eye. I heard crackle, crackle, crackle. Pressure was there. My whole body lit up with vibration. And I heard, everything has changed. Your psychic abilities have been enhanced. Everything has changed from this moment forward. And I was like, like I was like breathing like crazy. And that started me on a journey. Then COVID came, and I literally just hunkered down every morning and worked with guides and these beings. And that was how it all opened up.
Wow.
And yeah, I worked with these different beings and different frequencies and different experiences, getting like a crash course in dimensions and frequencies and beings. And then I ultimately started working with the Great Council of Light, which are our guides. They're super high frequency creator beings. And they have a very specific task at hand that they want me to be a part of with other people that are on my team, actually. We are here to usher and to support the shift of consciousness, and we are to help humanity. And I was told in 2020 to build a portal called Spirit Calling to support people who are going through their awakening journey. Something's going to happen in the blink of an eye. There's a glass ceiling that's going to break. They're not going to know who and what they are, what they've believed in, what their world has been built upon, and they need a safe place to land. And I was told to create my portal. And at the time I was like, I don't even know what the heck a portal is. Like, what? And the globe and humanity, like, these are not words that I associate with me and my work, because I have a branding and marketing firm. It felt so overwhelming at the time. Now I speak of it because I know it to be true. And I've seen all the evidence of everything I've done to get to this point, bringing me here and now to what I'm doing, which is channeling the Great Council of Light. I've been giving global updates and predictions that have come true. Most recently, one was an assassination attempt that I gave from the guides. They're not mine. They're the guides. So it's like, you know, when you told me I'd be doing this, if you told me way back when this happened with my dad or at my marriage, you never would have ever guessed you'd be here right now doing this work. You would probably have the same story, Lisa. Like,
oh yeah, right? never thought I would be doing this.
No, never, never, never.
No, you know, I was going to be a marine biologist, and I was. I was. And that was the right path for that time. I needed that. And then it shifted, and then it shifted, and then it shifted again.
And again, and again. Right. And I still will.
Well, so, okay. So the Great Council of Light, would they be considered just higher, like, I guess in the categorization, like, are they in the angelic realm or the ET realm or just energy, or who?
Yeah. To me, I believe they're angelic, super high frequency angelic beings. So I don't know exactly, but because I believe angels are ETs. So I believe that they are all one and the same. But in the effort to communicate to people, it's not a lie to say they're high frequency interdimensional beings. Angelic beings is universal term for it. So that's what they are. And, you know, their frequency is so, it was hard for me to channel them because my frequency is so different than theirs. And through all the trauma that I was able to release during COVID, still working with my guides, releasing trauma from past lives over and 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 over again, my frequency was rising, 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 rising. And they were able to like get to this place where you'll see now I move my head and stuff like that, but it was like thrashing, and you know, it still can be hard depending on where my frequency is. Not hard, but contrast, you know. And so when they first came in, it was like I remember the first day that they came in, makes my tongue tickle. I started with light language, so it was, I could hear, I even have it recorded. I could hear like the whispers of it, like starting. And then it was like, like it was, I mean, I had visualizations of it, like coming in almost like a dental tool. And really super high. And so it took us time to work together every morning to allow them to come in, and my body would thrash and my neck would move. And People ask me, because I channel live on TikTok. I'm about to channel live on TikTok. I've been sharing messages on TikTok. I just put my first live message out last evening. People say, how do you know? How do you know who they are? How do you know what it is? Some people, everyone meets the messages with whatever level of fear they have within their energetic body.
Yeah.
So when people say it's a demon, it's these are dark spirits. Well, no, they're not. And that's your fear being, elevated. How do I know? It's the story I just told you. I had a crash course for 4 years on all different kinds of frequencies, energetic beings, entities. I know how they feel. And when they're high vibratory, they feel wonderful. They feel like love. When they're not, exactly. It's fearful. It's scary. It does not feel good. And, it's traumatic. And I've experienced it all. So that's how I know. And this wisdom that I get intuited all the time, everything I do, I listen to the council. They send me visions. They send me images. They send me guidance. I channel messages. Everything I do is through this wisdom. And my life is evidence of it. When I don't listen, everything goes wrong. It's just like when you're a kid and you're learning boundaries. It's like, I'm learning that this is divine information that is serving my best interest. So that's how I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. My life improves and everything gets better and my work changes and things happen overnight. Things you didn't see coming. It's incredible. Opportunities or just people getting plopped in. And you just can't, when you just surrender and let spirit be in the driver's seat, take the wheel, Jesus, take the wheel, whatever, everything's different.
Yeah.
And, I am just like everyone else. I tell my community that I lead. I'm just like you. We're all here supporting each other. I'm constantly facing worry or fear or doubt or, I question things or decisions or whatever. I'm just like you. We're all in this together. And that's why the guides give me these messages to help support us. They're supportive messages of love and support and kindness. They just want to guide us. They don't want us to struggle.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, are they wanting to come through right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. And they are, so right now, just preparing you. There's an urgency. There's a lot of events that are coming. They keep talking about, they're getting excited, which is just the coolest thing because this is new for me to do this live. So Lisa, thank you for giving me the space. But my body fills up with vibration. It's almost like they're like, get on with it. But they've been giving us a lot of messages, trying to tell us, of things that are coming. I don't always know what's going to come out. It's not me, it's them. So, just be prepared. I will ask them though for loving messages of supporting guidance, to help ease everyone's journey. And so it'll be what it is. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So you'll see me moving. You'll see my voice change and my face change, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Yes, we are here. We are here. We are very pleased indeed to be here. We have a message for your community, dear Lisa. Yes. You are in the realm of connecting with other spiritual interdimensional beings as well, guiding others with their curiosity on the Earth's plane, envisioning ships in the sky, understanding other worlds, just beautiful to witness. We implore you now to extend yourself even further into this work, offering guidance to educate, understanding that there will be an event coming now to your world in the near future. An awareness campaign, as Pamela has said, visions of ships in the sky as far as the eye can see, presenting themselves to you, unearthing realities that do exist in your world that are kept beneath the veil. You are only shown what the rulers of your world would like you to see. But all of that will change shortly. There will be a shift. There will be an unveiling. There will be, in the future, an intergalactic community for all. We're working now towards that experience for your humankind. It will be a marvelous day indeed, all working together, interplanetary, intergalactic, all with a common interest to share information, understanding, creativity, collaboration. Wondrous days that have been in the past will be again in your future, dear one. Now there is change upon you and your planet. There will be a shift in your world. There will be events that shift your governments, that shift your days. They will change. You'll be moved into a different way of living, way of being, way of working, way of shopping, way of accounting yourself to your controllers. All of that is necessary now for your worlds to shift, to return again to the world that once was. We are happy to have been here today, able to give you a message of this. We are complete. I didn't realize how close I was to the microphone. I hope that you could hear it.
Yeah, it works.
See, I lose myself. I don't even know. So when they are complete, they are complete. I mean,
Okay.
do you see how fast they come in and out? Yeah.
Very fast.
Yeah. Yeah. So how was that?
No, well, it was, I felt the energy for sure. And yeah, really powerful message.
Yeah.
And so when you channel, are you kind of present with what they're saying? Like, do you remember?
Yeah, it's so hard to describe it. And so I just want to say thank you so much, because I'm hearing that over and over again. I actually feel like I'm going to get emotional. They're very, very, very happy that I'm doing this. This is hard for me because it's new.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm a business owner, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, I'm a partner, I'm all the things. And it's a new space for me. So thank you. And they're very, very, very grateful. My body filled up with vibration before and after. So what happens with me is they get so excited that it's, you know, they're trying to level their excitement and meet me in my frequency in order to communicate in a way that's calm. And but they're just like, I think, you know, if you had a toy for a puppy, they want to like pounce on it, and so they're like holding back as much as they can. But I am able to like be present, but I'm really kind of in the background, and I can hear them. And the moment, because it's new, that I start to maybe have more conscious, it might get interrupted a little bit. Just like when you're playing piano or you're playing an instrument and you're in flow. And then the moment you like focus on a note, you're like, and you don't remember where your finger was or whatever as a musician. But then you just kind of release it, and then you're back in it. So it's getting a little easier each time. From what I understand and remember, I think they talked about a intergalactic community, and how relevant is that for you? Wonderful. You know, I didn't think about it or ask them to even prepare. I've been on calls all day. So this is them knowing this was showing up, knowing you and I would speak, and them wanting to talk to your community. Yay. That's awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Cool.
So basically that the veil will be lifted so that we can see what's already there, right? Because they're around us all the time. So it's just as we're opening our minds, expanding our awareness, we are able to see more and more and accept that.
Absolutely.
And one of my missions in doing the show and all the things that I do in this realm is really to help people get over their fear of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing to fear.
No, that's what that is. I've seen, did they talk about the awareness campaign? I think I heard. I have seen that vision so many times. It's ships, whatever you want to call them, as far as the eye can see. And they're merely just there making their presence known. They're not attacking. They're not doing anything that you see in Hollywood. It's not that. They're benevolent.
Yes.
Yes. And then also, Lisa, I want to share with you that I don't know. This is important, actually. I should do this because your people should know. I had a vision and I got up in the middle of the night and I sketched it. And I actually drew it. I have it somewhere. I'll send it to you. But you might not be able to see it. I had to get up and sketch it in the middle of the night. I had a vision where I was standing watching an attack. I was watching an attack and there were ships in the sky, but the ground, the earth, our world was shooting at them. They were not shooting at us. And I was actually watching myself watch it. It was amazing. I wish I had the drawing ready for you. It was amazing. And it was me witnessing myself, witnessing this event. And I had this understanding that it was fake. It was a fake alien attack. It was not a real alien attack. It was a fake alien attack. And I feel like that is going to happen.
Well, and I just got full body goosebumps on that.
Yes.
Because other people have been predicting that as well.
Yes.
And that they're calling it a false flag invasion.
Yes.
And that's something like we have these different timeline potentials, but what people who I've been kind of peppering that into my tours and education a little bit, just to make sure people understand that if something like that happens, that it is not the ETs.
No.
It's the governments that are trying to maintain control.
It is. I saw the way they look. I saw everything, and I have a beautiful drawing. Who the hell knows where it is? But it's on my TikTok page, Spirit Calling Pamela, at Spirit Calling Pamela. I did post it. And it is not real.
Yeah.
It is not real. But I had so many, it's funny that this book is sitting here. I had so many experiences. Like, this is a Palladium being of real. He was one of my guides. And like in the middle of the night, I'd wake up and there'd be like these 3 guys standing by my bed. And this is one of them that I experienced next to my bed. He was black, all black and shiny, black goggles, all shiny. Like, this was he was almost like Gumby. Okay. This little one he talks like this. Like, it's incredible. I know it sounds nuts, but they're real. I experienced all of them and more. And it's fascinating to me, you know? So it's very real. And everybody who's listening, they keep on exploring and we're aliens. I mean, if anybody thinks that we're just planet Earth hanging out here by ourselves on this ball that's floating, and like, no, come on. Like, it's so silly. Sometimes I see people walking. I'm like, look at our tentacles. Like, aren't we the strangest looking things? Our eyes are like moving all around. Like, this is fun.
Yeah. So one of the things that they were saying was that, you know, things are going to be shifting in the upcoming time, like government and all that. And I know there are a lot of people who have a lot of fear or who have a lot of strong opinions, one side or the other. Have they spoke to that topic? Okay.
So I hope you don't mind me promoting anything. It's not that I just want people to, because some people don't like that. But in February, okay, thank you. In February, I launched my community in January. So this is all new to me. Okay. In February, I put out a predictions video. I channeled it. I closed my eyes, and then that wisdom that you heard me speaking comes through like lightning. When I just channel like this, typing like a crazy person. I typed a predictions video from the guides. And because I was afraid, I made it safe. I didn't use words like Trump. I didn't use words like Biden. I didn't use words. I kind of made it safe. I put it out. I spoke it. I broke it down. I talked. I recorded. I put it out on YouTube. Forgot all about it. 2 or 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, all night long, my guides were like, go look at the predictions video. Go look at the predictions video. Go watch the predictions video. Watch the predictions video. I forgot. I get up. I go for my walk. I hear predictions video. I'm like, okay. So I watch it and I'm like, holy shit. They predicted the assassination attempt They predicted Biden coming out and the shift happening there. They go watch the video. It's on youtube.com/spirit calling Pamela. And it's like right up in the front. There's all kinds of stuff that they have predicted for the rest of this year. But what they're saying right now is that there's not going to be an election.
You know what? That's so interesting, because one of my psychic friends that I have had on the show before, she made that prediction. Her guides showed her that there was not going to be an election.
No, there's going to be a series of events that are going to distract and create chaos and fear. And it's going to prohibit it from happening. Now, listen, if you go follow my TikTok at Spirit Calling Pamela, there's a whole thing about timelines. If you need to understand timelines, I know it's tricky. I know it sometimes doesn't make sense, but it's very, very true. There's probabilities, like you said. They talk about how each one of us individually affect the whole. It's fascinating. So go and listen to that. But there's a high probability, is what they're saying. There's a very high probability that this is happening, that these pieces are moving in this direction. What they're telling us right now, and they have been saying it since February, it's very important that you get your house in order. You work on your individual vibration, because if you don't, you're going to be swept up with the broom of chaos. Just like some other piece of fear that's rolling around. You have to hold yourself in high regard. Pay attention to what you're eating, what you're doing, what you're consuming, who you're spending your time with. You can't get stuck in idle gossip and nonsense and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. You got to stop the fighting.
Yeah.
Because it's not what you should be doing right now. You hold yourself in high regard, put yourself on this pedestal and treat it with the highest regard. Because if you don't, this chaotic wave is coming. You're just going to get barreled down in it. They don't want you to. That's the biggest thing they're talking about right now, Lisa.
Yeah.
And
same.
they talked about, what are we in now? September. They talked about the month of July, that there was going to be all these unexpected events, that there was going to be a sea of chaos in one direction and a sea of chaos in another, and all attention was going to be put upon it. They said September, it's going to be pure chaos up until the event. And the event, I mean, I don't like to get into specifics, but I'm traveling the very beginning of October, and I asked them if I was going to be okay, and they said yes. So I'm going to say mid-October to the election. I don't know. I don't know. And hey, any of that could or couldn't happen. But frequency.
Yeah.
Frequency. Worry about your frequency.
Yeah. That's exactly what my Arcturians are sharing with me and my people too, of really maintaining your own energy, focusing on yourself, clearing out whatever fears, whatever shadows you have, so that you can see these from the higher perspective and not get sucked in.
Yeah. Because the people who are able to see it in a higher perspective, they talked about this in the month of July and August. If you rise above it, you are not sitting in the chaos. You're sitting in creativity. You're sitting in alignment. You're sitting in people coming in the right time, in the right place, and opportunities. And I am an example of it. August was like, bam, pow, thank you, ma'am. Oh, I had no idea. It started in June, all of July, August, and people coming in, things tying up and buttoned up perfectly, and the next thing coming, and like, you're in this amazing space. Do you want to be there? Yeah, I want to be there.
Yeah. And they also share, like, focus on what reality you want to live in.
Yes, absolutely.
Take your attention away, all the fear-based, like, arguing kind of stuff. Because if you focus there, well, that's what your life is going to be like.
Yeah. And look at it. It's a play. It's a giant like spectacle. It's like this crazy play. And I'm like, people don't understand. This is not real. None of it is real.
No. It's
not. It's all a giant play. And the players are so fascinating. And so, I mean, all of it, it's all just fascinating to me. So I'm not making light of it. I'm not like, like making fun of it, but I'm making light of it. And you have to right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so hopefully anyone watching or listening to this, because this is now mid to late October when this is coming out.
Oh,
right. So I think, though, it is, no matter what, a timely message for people to hear of like, okay, really try to stay out of the chaos, like you just said. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all going to be okay.
It's all going to be okay. And, the community that I mentioned that I created, people are finding me. They're finding me, and they're finally finding me, and they're coming. And they're like, I was looking for a place. I've been feeling this way. These are things that I've been thinking. These are experiences I've been having. And it's like, it makes me so happy, because I'm meeting new people from all over the place who are saying, this is when I landed on your page, Pamela, I felt comfortable. That in itself is just it's like it goes right to my heart, because that's what I want people to feel. But I want them to know they have a safe place. They're not going to be called or labeled something because they have an idea. No. You come in, you tell me what you're feeling, you tell me what you're experiencing, you tell me what you're seeing, because probably experienced it myself. I probably have insight. And if I don't, I can tap into the guides, and I can tap into your guides actually and help you, and you got a community of people just like you. And you've got curated sound healing every month to help you with your vibration. That's the most beautiful thing. This month was about the throat chakra, and everybody needs support speaking their truths.
Yeah.
Speaking their truths is huge for September. Okay. And, it's amazing. So, yeah. So I'll keep you posted. I mean, we should definitely talk again towards the end of the year.
Right.
Let's see what shit show happens and break it down.
that could be fun. Well, so, besides your online sanctuary, do you work individually with clients?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you go to spirit-calling.com, there's a page called work-with-Pamela. And I have 3 different ways for you to work with me, because I wanted everyone, including the community. It's $25 a month. It's incredible. There's events, there's sound healings, there's community. I mean, you can't go to an event for $25. And it's an amazing value. But I say that because I wanted everyone to be able to access something that was important to me. So the 3 offerings are: you can work with me. I can channel a message from your guides. They're amazing, because they're things you don't even know that you need to know, or things that you were thinking about you never share with anybody. You might be at a pivotal moment in your life, a crossroads, a decision. You might need to find out what your purpose is. All those things that can help you. The second one is I channel a message, we meet, and I provide you a strategy, and we talk about things. We talk about what it means, and I can actually help you. And then there's a 3-month thing where you do that over the course of 3 months and really change your life. And all of it involves, there's packages. So all of it involves the community, because you need that support while you're having these things. You really do. And then, I have a podcast where I talk to people who are living their spirit's call, who are living and creating impact in the world. And they serve as an inspiration. So people hear, oh, she did this, and she left corporate America, or she left her marriage, and she, like my story and your story, just like that. I interviewed you. And so you're going to be on that. And it's nice because people get to find out more about you, and then my TikTok is really, and YouTube is really where the messages are going right now. But pretty soon they're just going to be teasers where I'm going to have, because I got censored on TikTok, and I can't be censored. I need to be able to give these messages real time. Okay. I got warned. So, I have to be careful. And so I'm going to be sending out, as these events, I've always seen this is what I'm going to do, because events are going to come, and I'm going to be giving updates. I'll be teasing on the platforms and sending people to my portal where I can speak freely.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important to talk, I think, in the future. But yeah, it's, if there's something inside of you, just like how you feel connected to ETs, or you feel connected to Lisa, your energetic body, your soul body, is connected to all that is. And sometimes you just don't understand how to harness it and understand it and navigate. So, if you feel it, do yourself a favor and and go and visit the site and check it out.
Well,
Yeah.
Pamela, thank you so much for being
You're so
here.
welcome. Yeah. Thank you.
I love you. I love what you do. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Great
Thank
counsel
you.
of light coming through. And definitely, yeah,
Ooh,
check out the membership portal. And like, yeah, I'm going to
all the
check
things.
that out too. Yes.
All the things. And yeah.
we, we as leaders and things, we also need support.
Oh, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
yeah. So
It
anyway,
is community.
very much appreciate you. So
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for the space. I appreciate you as well. And thank you, everybody.
yes. For those of you watching or listening, thank you for being here with us. And I'll see you next time on Connection to the Cosmos. Aloha.